Hello crafty friends! Today I have a video for you showing you how I repurposed a frame that I had already repurposed. So this is a repurpose. Anyway, so this frame I used to have it in a command area in our kitchen. So I had a calendar so I could write down the activities and things that my family had going on, so that way everybody could see. And this has like an acetate backing on it so you could write on it, so that's why I was using it as a dry erase. And it took me a couple of different tries to kind of come up with the design that I wanted that would work for me to show the calendar. I used to have a basic one, but then I wanted to change the color, so when I changed it into this color, this is what I came up with. But anyway, today I am going to be repurposing this frame so I could use it in my craft room. And I thought that I wanted to make like a pegboard, a pin board, and also still have some of that dry erase feature, so that way I could use it to put some notes or something in there. And what I am using here is I had a few sheets of paper that are 11 by 17 of white paper, and then also of some acetate that are the same size. So I'm just trimming them 1 inch because my frame is 16 by 20. So I'm just trimming an inch off of it, and as you can see, you know almost half of it is going to be the dry erase board, and the other part is going to be the cork board. And I'm using this cork board by Minds Art, I'm sorry, that I purchased a while back, and I think I got this either at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but I had only used a little tiny piece of it. So I figured that this would be a really good thing for me to put these cork sheets to use. And what I'm doing here, I'm just measuring to see how big of the size I needed. So yes, I do need about a 9 by 16. So I am just, marking it so I can measure 9 inches and cut it off. And I'm using, just a plain pen that that was right in front of me, and a ruler. Now, you don't need to draw the line. Either way, you're not going to see it, but, I drew the line so that way I can remember where I was going to be cutting. And I am going to be using an X-Acto knife to cut this cut it apart. And I'm also putting this cutting mat underneath so I don't ruin any other surface. This little cutting mat has been with me for the longest time. And, I still use it a lot. So, primarily I use it for making cuts, or, sometimes if I just need a flat surface for something. Though I don't use it for crafting anymore. But anyway, I am cutting this using this little swivel knife kind of X-Acto knife. But I am not putting my finger through the thing because the blades that I actually put on this one, I ran out of the regular ones that came with it, so I gotta go get refills. But this one doesn't fit quite good, so it was moving, so I figured it'd be easier for me to hold the whole thing. Anyway. And then, so at first I thought that I was going to be able to use that other scrap of paper, that it would be big enough for me to use through, for the whole thing. And yeah, see, when you put them together, you are going to be able to see that line, where the both parts meet. But it doesn't really bother me. If this is something that does bother you, you would want to get a bigger piece of cork board, or sometimes they have like little mats that that are roll, kind of like a roll, and then you'd be able to use a bigger surface. But in this case, for what I'm using it, it doesn't really bother me. I just wanted to find another place or another area where I can put maybe pin some pictures of my family, little notes, or sometimes my kids like to give me little notes, and I put them there so I can look at them all the time. And the dry eraser portion, I will be using it so I can make notes of things that I have coming up, or things that I need to get, or hopefully having it right in front of me will help me remember what needs to get done. So the reason I'm not using this one as a calendar is because I came up with a different idea. I'm using a smaller calendar hanging into our kitchen pantry. And then that way we write down all the information or things that we have going on, if the kids have practice, if we have any doctor's appointments or things like that. So that way everybody knows where to look and what's going on for that week. They'll still come and ask me, what do we have going on? And then even sometimes I forget to write it down, so I'll just save it on my phone. But yeah, hopefully this will help. But anyway, I haven't been making any crafting videos lately, or doing much crafting at all. For two reasons. One, I started reorganizing and I'm still finishing up in my craft room. Which by the way, I am totally in love on how it's looking. So I am very, very excited about it, and I can't wait to show you guys, what it looks like now. So I'm almost there. Just bear with me. But second of all, is because doing all of these, and then it's been super cold, and the weather's just been kind of weird, and I just been lazy. Just kind of lazy, and I don't want to be doing much. But I did promise myself that I was gonna try to do more crafting and get involved, do more things that kind of help my mind, release. But yes, so I will start doing this here soon, and maybe kind of set myself a goal of what how many projects or how many things I want to do. But we'll see how that works. So anyway, once I have all of my pieces cut, I decided to grab some of these double-sided tape, and this is the thin strip. It's about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just putting it on this little tiny strip where um, the acetate is going to be holding on to that frame, so doesn't peek through. But I am just going to be putting it there so it doesn't fall off. So as you can see, I'm just gluing it in there. It's just thick enough that you could use it for that, and I'm putting it on all three sides, especially because since it's gonna be halfway, through the frame, you don't have something to hold it like normally would have if you had the whole, if you were using the entire frame for these. So because I'm cutting it a half, it does make it a little bit harder for for you to be able to make sure that everything's going to be fitting there and that it's going to be holding it. So this tape is definitely helping. And so here I just put my the cardstock on top. But then that's when I realized, because it's something I didn't think about it, I just like said, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and I just kind of was winging it. But I'm cutting the scrap piece of paper of the corkboard that I had into like little strips. I'm not really measuring them or anything because it doesn't matter. I just wanted them so I can put them on the back of it, so when I put the big panel on the back of the frame, has something to hold on to, because obviously the corkboard is a lot thicker than just a piece of cardstock and acetate. So I do need that for it, and I just put it on each one of the corners. I centered it onto each side of the paper, so that way it could even out. And that's what I was doing. And I also used some of that double-sided tape to kind of glue it onto the paper, and to make sure that it's not going to be moving or it's not going to be falling off. I also decided to use that other big piece to put it in the center, which then I just started thinking that kind of defeated the purpose, because I'm just going to be wasting this corkboard, so I should have made the whole thing a corkboard, or the whole thing a dry eraser. But anyway, I figured that I will put it in the middle and see how it worked. And so I'm just using the piece of the double-sided tape, flip it over, and then just press it down. So now I'm ready to close it down. But one little thing that I found out once I put everything there is, like, I had the two pieces of the corkboard on the side, and I needed something that was going to be holding them together. So I just grabbed a piece of paper. It's like masking tape, to to glue them together, so that way they're not going to fall apart. You still see that line on the other side, but at least it's something that's going to keep them together. And now to push the frame has this little pieces of like metal clasps, and I'm just using the tip of my scissors to kind of push them down, so that way it holds everything in there. And now, as you can see, it's looking so nice and neat. But here you see, when I tried to push it on that corner, on the sections that I didn't have anything to back that acetate in that paper, when you would push into it, it will poke through. So yeah, that was not going to work, because you want to be using these to write notes, and yeah, you don't want it to be breaking on you. So I decided to just grab a piece of cardboard, a cardboard box. I love recycling, and I like, taking any boxes or anything, take them apart. I usually put them in the recycling bin, but I had a few that I hadn't put there, so it was just perfectly worked out. So you can see I this one's from Michael's, and I'm just measuring the cardboard so that way I can cut the size of it. Now when I was looking at it, using a double was going to be a little bit too thick, but if you only use one, it was too thin. So I kind of had to find a happy medium. And what I ended up doing with that was just kind of pressing onto the paper. So when you press onto it, those little rivets that it has that make the cardboard stand or separate from each side of each panel. When you press it down, it squishes it, so it doesn't have as much dimension. So I did that. Now another thing that I noticed is that the corkboard was kind of like shedding a little bit of little pieces and stuff, and it was coming in between the cardstock and the acetate, which since it was going to be at the top. So I decided I was going to grab some tape. So I grab a long piece of just regular Scotch tape, and I tape a corner on each side so that way I can have the sticky side facing up, and I just bring my acetate to it, kind of measure it so it doesn't look uneven on the other side, and just fold it over. So now what this does, it just creates a seal between those two. So then there's nothing that's going to be getting in between, and then it's not going to look like your board is all dirty or, has little crumbs or little things hanging in there. So that's what's going to be at the top. So I didn't do it through the whole thing because I didn't really need it, because everything else is going to be framed onto that frame. But I did need it on that portion or that section where the cardstock and the corkboard were going to be meeting. So anyway, so I finished all of those, and I was just going to be putting it together. So I measure the cardstock, and then I just put again some of the double-sided tape so that way it can hold it in place and it's still not going to be moving, and then I'm ready to put everything together. So I am excited to see to show you guys what my craft room looks like, and I would love to know what you guys are doing, what you're working on, and if there is something that you guys want to see more of, or that you will want me to kind of try. I know that I've been doing the one kit 10 cards videos. I haven't done haul videos too many lately because I actually been trying to refrain from spending too much money on crafting, since I do have a lot of supplies, and I can't just be spending a lot of money on it anyway. But sometimes it is a little bit hard to kind of not do it, because if there's a specific project that you want to do, and if I don't have the things at hand, obviously I have to go get them. But I'm trying to be a little bit more, so maybe by writing these things down and putting like, okay, the project that I want to do, what are the things that I have, or what are the things that I have and what can work. So now, because this frame was actually or is meant to be hung horizontal, it had those little things to hang on each side, but I am flipping it over because, one, how it is going to fit on my wall and where I'm going to be putting it. So I ended up just putting one of those hanging frame little hooks on the other side, and then I tied a wire behind it so that way it could work. Now I just pulled out some washi so that way I can put, like, you can see there where the cork and the acetate kind of separate, and I was not liking how it was looking, just to be open, and I wanted it to look a little bit more unified. So I pulled out some of the washi that I have that it's got a little bit bluish or teal colors that kind of matches what I have going on in my craft room. So these were the ones I had, and I'm just cutting little pieces of it to try to decide which one would look better. And then I brought it over to my husband and the kids, and I asked them which one they thought, which one they were thinking that looked better. But everybody had a different one, so it just kind of made it a little bit hard. So what I ended up doing, just to kind of make it a little bit more subtle, I used this washi that has this very pretty floral pattern all throughout, and then it's just white with the white florals. Now because it is kind of transparent, you were gonna be able to see it through. So all I did was just cut a piece of the masking tape, to that width, and then just lay that first, and then I just put my washi tape right over it. I tucked it in underneath the frame, so that way you don't see it on the side, and then that's it. My board is done. I hope that you guys like this project. I had a lot of fun creating it. So I hope that this video gave you some inspiration and ideas of how to repurpose things around your home or your craft room, and hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.